It just has energy to it tonight. And it's not the broadcast, it's the fact that it's Thursday. We're heading obviously into a weekend and we've got a big winter storm to talk about, right? There's a certain energy about it. I know you guys are feeling it. I'm getting blown up with texts just asking about different plans and stuff like that. Personal people I haven't talked to in a long time. There's that, family members as well. A lot of information obviously to discuss here. All right, so we'll get through the information. I know a lot of you have plans coming up this weekend. You're wondering, is it going to be bad? Is it not? Is this really, overblown for us here locally? Because that's what we're going to focus on. We're also going to talk a little bit about travel because some of you do have plans, maybe on business to travel. I know a lot of you messaged me regarding that. Maybe most of you aren't traveling to Tennessee this weekend, but some of you are looking to travel, and we'll talk about best times for that. Lots to discuss. All right, here in our broadcast tonight. I do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join. I know it's around dinner time. People get done with work trying to do all that, so I'm very conscious of that. And if we haven't met, I'm meteorologist Matt Wentz for Region Weather. So nice to meet you. All right, let's dive into the broadcast real quick. We'll get through our sponsors. They keep everything for free. They're awesome. They're all local to Northwest Indiana. If you have any issues with your furnace, earlsheating.com, the place to go. If you need anything with your water, whether it be salt delivery, maintenance, or anything regarded to maybe your water tastes kind of funky, they'll test that as well. Halcyon Water Solutions, the place to go for that. In terms of our roofing, Romans Roofing takes care of that. They also do windows, siding, gutters as well, romansroofing.net. If you have questions around life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, we have a guy who knows all that stuff, all the new laws that got passed in 2026. He's got those down. No cost consultations. It's Michael Minogue for Minogue.life is the website. If you need a mortgage lender, we've got Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. It's Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl on Facebook. FBIbuildings.com. If you need a new pole barn constructed, they do residential and commercial. They also renovate existing pole barns. They've done over 20,000 in the Midwest. They are not bad. They have some great portfolios on their Facebook page, FBIbuildings.com. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. If you need a new vehicle, they obviously have Chryslers, Dodge, Jeeps, and Rams. They also have other vehicles that are used as well, but the Jeep Wagoneer is really the vehicle of choice. Four-wheel drive, it looks awesome for 2026. That's available if you're in the market for that. T&T Tree Service, if you have any trees that are looking a little funky or maybe they come down in the windstorms, TTTreeservice.com, the place to go, 3 T's in that. TigerPlumbing.net if you need a plumber. There are awesome plumbers here in Northwest Indiana. And they remind us with that cold coming in, make sure, this should be done already, but make sure your outdoor spigots are off, okay? And make sure the water line inside your house that goes to that outdoor spigot is turned off. You should have a valve on that turns that off. You don't want any water between that outdoor spigot where it's going to get really cold tonight and tomorrow and Saturday and the rest of the winter as it looks right now. You don't want any water in there. And they remind us of that. If you have any water problems, leaks, or anything that needs fixed, tigerplumbing.net. And finally, last but not least, publicserviceadjusting.com. Those are local to Northwest Indiana, licensed insured mom and dads that what they do if you have an insurance claim on your property, whatever it happens to be, don't call your insurance company first, call them. They'll come out, document it, take pictures, video, all that stuff. They'll submit the package to your insurance company and they'll deal with the back and forth and get you top dollar versus getting shortchanged by your insurance company. And the phone tag's annoying as well with your insurance company. So they'll take care of you. Publicserviceadjusting.com. All right, let's say hi to our early birds. Tyler, he says, what up, Matt? What up, Tyler? Thanks for joining us. You were the first one on board, buddy. You're ready to go. We did schedule this one, so that makes it a little easier. Mark's with us on our YouTube channel. Hey, Mark, how you doing, bud? Brent is with us as well. Absolutely welcome. Thanks for joining us. Mary, let's see, Alice is with us. Alice, hot finger tonight. You were one of the first on board. Vicky, hello as well. Sherry, thank you for that. That's too much pressure. Always count on you for the weather. I appreciate that. Oh, Kate's on board. Here's your home loan girl. Hey, Kate, I know you want snow. So Kate did a live shot for us. Kate, we got to get you hooked up with a live shot on Sunday. We have to work that out. With you and Ryan, let's do that. She did a live weather report out of Crown Point with some of the snow last year. It was such a big hit. Kate will have you back. But if you need anything, obviously go to Kate for the home loan stuff, not the weather. She's pretty good at weather, too. All right, Lisa's with us as well. Christina, hello. Nancy, hello to you. Shelly, thanks for joining us. Amanda, Jessica Ann says, make winter go away. Laura says, already rescheduled doctor appointment. I know we talked about that, Laura. Good. I'm glad. That's smart. Mark's with us as well. Jacqueline, good evening to you. Can you color on the map and make the cold go away? I can ask my kids. And I've gotten this question a lot today. Can you make the exploding, or are we in exploding tree territory? If you saw that earlier, I think it was Max Velocity that was talking about exploding trees when it gets so cold because of the water inside the tree, it's you have to read it. It's a clickbait thing. Is it possible? Yeah. Have I ever seen one in my career? No, I haven't. And I'm pretty sure no one else has seen an exploding tree either. My daughter's down here now. She's looking at me. She's like, "What? Do I need to be worried? You want to come say hi to everyone? You are never here when people are on. It's a little tiny camera. It's not a big deal. All right, say hi. This is our oldest. This is Emerson. This is everybody. They're waiting to see what's happening with the storm. I don't know if they really want to chit chat and learn about the family. But thanks for saying hi. You want to say hi? All right, she's shy. She's our shy one, like Mama. That's okay. All right, a lot of other people on board too. Okay, let's dive in now that we have some folks here. Again, if you guys have questions, all right, I'm going to try to answer most of those. Most of the questions that you guys have are probably related to, I'm starting here, I'm going here in terms of destination and timing. So I'll try to answer all of that, all right, here in the forecast for you. So just pay attention when I talk about destinations. Hopefully I'll answer your question with kind of what we're going to go through here tonight. Okay, let's talk about Arctic air first. We have really, really cold air. It gets cold every winter. I get it. All right. January is notorious. February as well for these Arctic shots of air. It's been mild the last, 5, 6, 7 winters around here. Okay. So as a result, when we talk cold air, it's not historic, but this is some really cold stuff coming in. Earlier this week, we had the shot. This shot is even stronger than that. So we'll talk cold air first. This map, I know you can't see the numbers. All right. I'll read them to you, but what you need to know, notice how right here the wind barbs kind of change, those little lines in the backside. That front is not far off, and this is the Arctic front. It's going to move in over the next couple hours. Yes, it's cold now. Readings right now generally in the low 20s. We do have a gusty wind out of the west. It's been howling all day, especially west of us. But temperatures go from the 20s locally to the single digits in southern Wisconsin to -5 to -15 in Minnesota. All right, so that cold air is southbound. We will likely end up either at or below zero waking up tomorrow morning. That's a pretty incredible fall between now and then. So I just want to make sure you're prepped for that tomorrow. I'll show that to you via colorful map version. Notice how the cold air pushes in tonight. It comes with a gusty north-northwest wind, and temperatures tomorrow morning, here you go, waking up. I think, has it down compared to some of the other models are a little bit colder. Some are a little warmer, but we'll be anywhere near zero out towards the east, probably -2 or so in Valpo. And then we get into the Gary area where we're closest to this cold air. Gary, Hammond, down towards St. John, likely in the -4, -5, -6 category. That's air temp. In terms of wind chill values, I've got that for you too. Here you go. It gets cold tomorrow morning, and it stays cold throughout the day with wind chill values. I don't know if you can see those numbers. Depends on what screen you're viewing on right now. But we're talking -25 to -30 degree wind chills, not just tomorrow morning, but really as we go throughout the day. That morning through early afternoon is going to be the coldest because the wind will be the strongest, and then the wind will start to back off a little bit, and it's still going to be bone chilling cold. But this is some serious stuff, all right? We don't get much colder than that. I do remember a couple winters growing up as a kid where our wind chill, remember, not to date myself, but the wind chill table has changed. So I know a lot of you grew up with -70, -80 degree wind chills. Things have changed. Those would have been -40 and 50 degree wind chills, all right, in today's date. Either way, I remember some years growing up where we did have -40. I don't remember too many years recently, though, where we've hit -30. So there are some dates mixed in there. But locally, this is a big deal. All right, this is going to be some really cold air. This is about as cold as we get here in Northwest Indiana any given year. And that's coming in. And tomorrow's the day that we're going to have it. A lot of e-learning days already. Superintendents watching. I always speak to superintendents. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty easy answer tomorrow in terms of school or no school, because this is some seriously cold stuff. All right, Friday evening plans. Wind chill value still around -20. All right, then we head into Saturday, and remember, we've got that system coming in Saturday and the Saturday night. It's going to bring moisture with it. It's going to bring some warmth with it. Problem is, we don't get that warm, all right? We're going to probably get up to like 18 degrees when the snow hits. So you see wind chill values stay below zero for much of the weekend, and then another shot comes in behind this major system on Monday. So Monday is going to be really cold again. Okay, that's all we got on the cold. Let's talk snow, shall we? All right, here's your view out over the Pacific Ocean right now. A lot of turbulence, a lot of storm systems spinning around. You get atmospheric rivers from time to time, which we kind of have the leftovers of one right now. Here's the United States, if you can see it off towards the right. I'm used to being in front of a green screen all day, so it's really frustrating at the point. I have to use my mouse cursor. During COVID, I don't some of you know this, but during COVID, I obviously broadcast from home for a year and a half. and the station built me a green screen in the basement. It was awesome. So the kids would play in front of it, all that. I had the monitors on both sides. It was wild. And I really wanted to keep it up for region weather, but they needed their equipment back, and it's all expensive stuff. So anyway, here we are with a mouse cursor, but it's fine. We've got that low pressure that's going to be responsible for all this. A lot of people don't know where it's coming from, if it's going to be a low that develops in Oklahoma. This is a low pressure coming from California. It's out in California right now. That same low is the one that's going to be responsible for all this mess east of the Mississippi Valley and a little bit west as well in areas of Texas. But either way, this is it right now. One thing I want you to note about this, though, you can see the obvious swirl, but look at all this energy out ahead of it. There's a lot of Pacific moisture down here that's coming way out up ahead of it, all right? And that's what's going to kickstart the storm system, where we're going to see this wave of moisture that comes in. That will kind of move through without a low to kind of kick it off or crank it out. And overall, as that moisture comes in, the first wave goes through, but then the low comes in, and that low pulls more moisture with it. So it's kind of a two-phase system, as I'll show you here in a second. But this is incredible. On the news this morning, I was talking about this is 1,900 straight miles of winter storm watches or warnings at this point. When I say this is a massive snowstorm, and again, those of you that have been with me long enough, you know that I don't hype things. I hate hype. I hate how we just do fireworks and explosions and bright colors everywhere. I hate it. But at the same time, and you see the LL Bean ads, apparently I was looking at sweaters over Christmas. That's embarrassing. Everyone needs to stay warm. But anyway, in terms of the mileage on this, the real estate that this thing takes up is just incredible. All right. And we've got winter storm warnings already taking place in the pink. Notice how we are excluded from the winter storm watches here in Northwest Indiana. All right. And is that for good reason or not? Well, let's discuss, because we are going to get some snow. And a lot of questions I asked for some questions on our social post earlier. And a lot of you just said, is it just going to snow? Let me know. Erica asked earlier, does the groundhog take bribes? I like that one. Tina says, any snow? Jackie says, are we getting any snow out of this? Alice, you're on here. You had that. I love that meme you said. It says, it's a little kid talking to a groundhog. It says, listen up, Mr. Groundhog. You've got about 2 weeks to get this nonsense sorted out. Mary had a funny post as well. And then Bill Stearns, who's always great at graphics, came up with a bread and milk and toilet paper one. But anyway, a lot of people asking if it's going to snow. So it is going to snow, and we're going to get some snow out of this. How bad is it going to be, though? Let's discuss. So for tomorrow, when that cold air comes in, we know we have that. The lake effect's been ongoing in Michigan all day today with that west wind. I mentioned all week, we started picking up on this on Sunday, that lake effect snow, as the winds start to churn, as the cold air really gets here, that lake effect snow is going to start to transition into Northwest Indiana. So I don't want us to let our guard down on that. There's not a ton of snow with us, and this would be, a very tiny band, but we may have some lake effect snow. You see how the models are starting to pick up on that now? See how that band kind of comes into areas of LaPorte County for much of the day tomorrow? And then it starts to, tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, transition out towards the west as that pole starts to come in from that system. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a little bit of lake effect snow around here. LaPorte County for much of the day tomorrow should be on the light side, but then getting into Porter County and perhaps Lake County before it ends early Saturday. So don't be surprised by that, all right? I don't want anyone to think that snow is the system coming in early. It's not, all right? That's going to be lake effect with that bitterly cold air. And then you can see this is our first kind of high-res look at these systems. We've been looking at global models. High-res stuff's starting to come into view now. And this is the NAM. And this is what I wanted to show you Saturday. So here's the day Saturday. Here's Saturday night, okay? This is the entire day Saturday. There's not a flake on us outside of a little bit of lake effect. And I tend to agree with this. I think we'll get a little bit of snow Saturday, but a lot of people are concerned about Saturday locally, and you don't need to be. The reason why, remember I mentioned the system's coming in two waves. So we've got wave number one that kind of is all that moisture coming in. Then the low comes in and picks up another area of moisture. And you can kind of see it here on the NAM, how you get this wave right here that moves by and doesn't really affect us a whole lot. And then you start to bring in wave two here, and that's when all this snow starts to expand on the northern side of it, right? This system's just massive. It's crazy. But either way, I don't see a lot of impacts around here on Saturday. I really don't. And I don't want us to be disappointed if we don't get any snow on Saturday, because a lot of people say, hey, there's a big winter storm coming in. I thought it was supposed to hit this weekend. Sunday continues to look like our snowier day, okay, by far. All right, Sunday is the snowy day. Saturday, I don't see much. Things that would change on the model, we've got a lot of dry air in here with this Arctic air mass, so I don't think much is going to change. I think there will be some snow around on radar, and we may have some snow showers from time to time Saturday. But again, I don't see it being too impactful. All right, that's as far as the high-res stuff goes. We'll have a real good read of it tomorrow. So let's go to global. We'll show you a big picture of the storm system, then we'll dive in. We'll talk totals, we'll talk timing, and answer your questions. Here we go, through time. Here's our storm system here. Look at the impacts breaking out as early as Friday night, areas of Texas. All right, we're throwing moisture into cold air that came in. Ice storm breaks out in the Red River Valley, all the way over through areas of Mississippi and Arkansas. Heavy snow north of that. So OKC is between heavy snow and ice. All right, they're right on the line. Same with Little Rock. Overall snow in Missouri will break out if you're traveling down towards St. Louis, areas of Kentucky, downstate areas of Illinois, over towards Ohio. It's going to start to get snowy as we go throughout the day, Saturday into Saturday night. All right, this system continues to advance east. Here's our wave of low pressure now catching up to the whole thing. So this will ramp up this northern snow, and that's where we get our snow here. You can see how that brushes us. Yes, we're missing the worst of us, but we're still going to get snow out of it. And that system is a behemoth as it heads up into Ohio. Areas of Pennsylvania are going to get smacked by this. Ice all the way down to the Carolinas. They get something called cold air damming. I had the kids cover their ears on that earlier. It's a weather term. What happens is you get this high pressure, and again, I'm sorry if people want this to be quick. I love to teach. There's a high pressure out towards the east. Whenever there's a high somewhere centered over the eastern U.S., the wind around that, if you follow it, brings cold air from Canada down here, okay, into the Carolinas, and then it hits the Appalachian mountain chain and it stops, and that cold air gets stuck. So it's kind of, the Appalachians form is like a dam, all right, with cold air coming in, and it gets blocked, and that cold air gets trapped all the way down, kind of where I'm drawing my mouse cursor here, all the way down the spine of the eastern side of the Appalachians, and that leaks into areas of North Georgia. That's why they have so much ice down there when they get big winter storms, is because you have cold air that gets stuck, because cold air is heavy and dense, so it sticks at the ground. You have warm air coming aloft, so there's no problem aloft, but that cold air is stuck. So they'll have rain a lot of the time that hits that cold air, which is stuck at the lower levels, and it freezes. And I'm afraid that's going to be the situation for a good portion of Carolinas. Look at all this ice that forms as that cold air comes down the spine of the Appalachians. Big question is, does Atlanta get into it? North Georgia will, but does Atlanta get hit by that ice? And we'll see. It looks like that they will right now based on all the modeling. Anyway, that system continues to push on by. And then by Sunday night, systems out. We've got lake effect behind that. And just a little preview of next week, we stay snowy. Another system coming in right there as we go into Wednesday, Thursday. Cold air all next week, just so cold once again. And then we have a couple various systems that continue to show up in the modeling. But I don't see anything melting through at least February 4th. If you join me on Sunday for the broadcast, we were looking at a potential warm-up on the 4th. Now it's getting pushed back a little bit further into February. All right, on a local scale, what are we talking about here? So snow will overspread the area, again, on and off Saturday. I don't think Saturday's a big deal, but by Saturday night, that second wave's starting to move in, okay? That will bring just a general light snow back into northwest Indiana, all right? So waking up Sunday morning, we'll likely have a general light snow falling, and it will come in waves. It never looks like this on radar, okay? It's not going to be this solid block of precip. It's likely going to be linear. You'll see lines of it that kind of pulse up and down, where the snow at times is gentle, at times it'll be a little heavier, and at times it'll really back off. That's kind of how it's going to go Sunday morning, the way I see it. And then as we go throughout the morning into the midday and early afternoon, and then into the afternoon on Sunday, that's when we'll get our heaviest snow potential. It looks like we'll have some kind of trowel band down towards the south, which is where you really crank the snow. This is where you get the thunder snow and the 2 to 3, 4 inch hour parates, right where that ice changes over to snow. That's where you get your real heavy stuff, all right? North of that, we'll get this general shield where it's like a light to moderate snow all day. That includes Indy, all right? They're going to get some good snow down in Indy as well. Notice how that light to moderate area will likely get up into the region at times. Again, it's not going to be a fine line like this. It's going to kind of pulse up and down. But I do think we're going to overcome the dry air, and I do think we're going to get some good steady snow around here on Sunday. It's going to be light a lot of the day, but sometimes it'll probably pulse up into the kind of the moderate range, okay? This is not going to be a major, like, we're used to snow squalls here from lake effect. It's not going to be that, all right? We're not going to have super heavy lake effect snow like visibility, okay? It's just going to be persistent throughout the day on Sunday. That would continue as we're going into Sunday night, all right? And then we'll have some leftover lake effect that will likely curl along the lakeshore that will keep that snow going for another 2 to 3 hours than most areas. And that would wind down into Monday morning. We'd likely see some lake effect band pushing east. Remember, we've got cold air coming in Monday morning as well. And then the lake effect would wind down and we are done with it. All right, let's take you through the modeling right now. You're probably seeing all sorts of different amounts, and that's rightfully so, because I mentioned yesterday, as meteorologists, we have at our disposal around 150 different options to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it. This is the euro. All right, track has pretty much remained the same since the 12Z came out this afternoon. This is the 12Z. The 18Z is looking very similar to that. The track shifted a little bit further north this morning with the 0Z run, but overall we're looking at just a widespread area, says the euro, of a foot plus of snow. All right, a lot of these areas will get 8, 9, 10, and then there's some areas that get 15, 16 inches. Bullseye up towards New York, they'll have some lake effect in that as well. But here locally, notice we've got totals from the euro in the 7 to 10 inch range. Okay, as we go into the other models, let me show you GFS. Okay, here's the GFS, which has always been our party pooper if you like snow. GFS keeps the real heavy stuff south. GFS is not impressed with that northern moisture with this. Okay, it keeps that dry air coming, and it has amounts much lower in the 2 to 4 inch range, which is what I said we would get yesterday. And then notice, let me show you the gem real quick, the Canadian model, a little bit further north. The Canadian has some euro tendencies to it, so I'm not surprised. This is in the 4 to 8 inch range here locally. Okay, that's not a bad snow. That'll cause some problems with lesser amounts in those bullseye zones, but a general 8 to 12 inches in that bullseye down to the south. And then one thing I want to show you, though, we talked about this yesterday, the ensembles. This is the European ensemble. All right, I'm going to go back to 12Z again and fast forward a little bit. This is a European ensemble. So what an ensemble is, it's about 51 different runs that get kind of thrown in and averaged out. And you notice the European ensemble is a little bit lower than a lot of these totals coming in. But the problem with the ensemble that I don't think a lot of people realize is that the snow ratio is off. All right, this is a 10 to 1 ratio. We will not have 10 to 1 ratio snow. That's talking about how much liquid, how much fluff there is in the snow. Our snow is going to be a little bit fluffier than this. All right, it's going to be a little lighter weight, and it will add up to a little bit more than a 10 to 1 ratio snow would do. So that puts us back in the 3 to 6 inch range. Guess what I'm going with for my forecast? I think we're going to end up with 3 to 6, maybe 8 inches out of this. I think 8's going to be pushing it. All right. But I think we'll end up with about 3 to 6 out of this here locally. All right. Stay tuned. Okay. This isn't going to be my last forecast. And again, we're just guessing how much snow, what the ratio is. We're looking at 150 different models and trying to come up with our own thing. I have a feeling we're going to end up in that 3 to 6 inch range here locally. Okay. And that would be starting Sunday, going all the way through Monday at this point. Okay. So that's my forecast in terms of our snow right now. We'll get that out. I do think we'll be higher than the ensemble. I think we'll be lower than the euro. But in terms of impacts, regardless of how much snow we get, it's all the same when it comes to impacts, and that's what's important. And I love this product from NOAA. We started using this 2 winters ago, I believe. I remember Christmas I was using this. It was a newer product then, but this is the Winter Storm Severity Index. So this is all about impacts, and that's what matters. This goes through Sunday at 1, okay, so it doesn't quite get into our meat and potatoes in terms of snow, but I would imagine we're going to end up areas in orange from this as it spreads north. And what is orange? It's moderate impacts. I don't think we're going to have major impacts from the storm system locally. I do think they will have that down towards Indianapolis and Evansville. If you have travel plans down 65, it's going to get messier and messier the further south you get. I think we'll have major impacts there. But here locally, I do think we'll dance into the orange category. So what does the orange category mean on Sunday? Expect disruptions to daily life. We'll have that, right? Because it's going to get snowy outside, and INDOT's going to have a wide area to cover. They're covering the whole state versus lake effect snow in one county, all right? It's a lot. Also, some areas are starting to run out of salt or running low on salt because it's been a bad winter. So those two things, not too great. Hazardous driving conditions, use extra caution while driving is what they recommend. We get that. Closures, disruptions to infrastructure may occur. There you go. You might want to alter your plans as well because it's just going to be snowy around here. Do I think we'll be able to handle it? Yes, I do. I think you'll be able to, as long as you're a good winter weather driver. I think you'll be able to handle this system quite well because we've had bigger storms before, but I do think it gets snowy around here on Sunday. All right. I don't want that to be lost in the translation here. Okay. So that's what we're looking at in terms of kind of impacts and timing from that. On Monday, I think we'll have some leftover cleanup around here as well. The snow will be pushing out on Monday, but remember, we've got cold air pushing in as well. Okay, so that's what we've got here locally. If you guys have any questions, go ahead, throw them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer those for you as long as I haven't already covered it already. But I hope that helps. Again, the whole point is that this helps you make decisions on what you need to do this weekend. All right, Saturday, I don't think it's going to be bad at all. By Saturday night, we'll start to bring in some snow. And once that snow starts, temperatures are going to be cold enough that we're going to be able to not melt it off very efficiently on roads. Salt's going to be effective, but not greatly effective. And there's just going to be a persistence to it that I think lasts all the way through Sunday night into Monday. And that's where it starts to add up when you have a persistent snow over and over again. Okay? All right. And just as a reminder, regionweather.com. A lot of you have signed up for that daily email. I'll be sending those out again starting tomorrow morning. So again, if you're not signed up for that, regionweather.com, you'll see sign up for daily email in the top corner. It's just me. I type something up. I have a graphic. I send it out in the mornings, and you get it in your email. And it's a nice little localized forecast. It's not from a bot. It's not from AccuWeather, which doesn't have anyone running it. It's all bot stuff and AI. Overall, it's something that we like to send out, and I don't spam you or anything like that. It's real easy. It's just a nice way for me to communicate whatever's happening to a good group of people. All right, we call it our Region Weather email family. So there's that. Okay, all right, let's dive into the forecasts. Anything you guys have here, let's answer for you. All right, Iron Jim is tired of being cold. That's the first comment I see. I know, and it's going to get even colder around here. Dave says he was expecting 3 to 5 northern dire Munster. I agree. And Dave, in terms of the snow, this isn't going to be a huge snow, but again, it's going to add up over time. So don't expect 5 inches right away, right? This is going to be, like I mentioned, kind of a marathon kind of snow where it starts on Sunday and it won't end till Monday. I mean, Sunday I expect it to snow pretty much all day long, all right? There'll be some times where it backs off, but other times where it picks up to kind of make up for it. So there's that. Tom's impact is going to be on the couch. So there's that. I like that. Brent asking about Cleveland numbers. Brent, I think Cleveland's going to be getting upwards of a foot. I really do. I have a good feeling about that. This storm's just got a ton of moisture with it. Cleveland will be more so in that sweet spot. I think the Euro might be a little high on some of these, but we're going to add in some lake enhanced and some lake effect snow. Lake Erie's starting to freeze over, but there's still plenty of open water. Plus, we get help from Lake Huron as well. But I think we're going to end up in the foot range. So forecast this morning, Brent, was for 6 to 12. I may do 6 to 12 plus tomorrow morning. We'll see. But overall, it's going to be a good snow for sure. All right. Let's see. Tom says, how good is snow removal in Ohio? Need to drive to Columbus on Monday morning. It's not bad, Tom. It's really not. However, a lot of places in Ohio are running out of salt too because they didn't order enough. And Cargill is one of the main suppliers of salt to a good portion of Ohio. It's based out of Cleveland. They actually mine salt underneath Lake Erie. It's cool. I got to do a tour one time. There's huge caves underneath the water in Lake Erie where they have just a ton of salt available and they mine it. Either way, some of the deliveries got messed up and orders and stuff like that. I don't think it's Cargill's fault. I think it's just a supply demand issue. And a lot of places in Ohio do not have enough salt to take care of the next couple storms if we were to get them. So this may be one of them. I think it's going to be tricky. And that's a long trip for you, Tom, on Monday morning. And there's so much cleanup between you and Columbus, Ohio. So I think it's going to be a messy trip for sure. Mark asks, so where would you say the east-west boundary will be for the cumulative snow? Mark, I think we all get accumulating snow. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be, well, if you mean like as we go further off towards the north, somewhere, I think the Euro's got a good handle, somewhere up around the Wisconsin-Illinois border. I think there's going to be a cutoff where the snow really becomes light enough and patchy enough where it's just not doing much off towards the north. I mean, there's going to be dry air coming in with that high pressure behind it too, so that's something to watch. Let's see, Mariana says, do you think local inland lakes will be frozen enough for go ice fishing? I think so. It depends on the length and the depth. All right, you want to make sure you have a tester on if you're going ice fishing. It tests how deep that ice is. Okay, they're fairly inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. Make sure it's got good reviews. But either way, this cold event is going to do it. I think it's going to be cold enough, through the weekend that I think we're going to develop some good ice. We already have good ice, but we're going to develop some thicker ice. Obviously, the Great Lakes are going to start to freeze up as well. And I really think if you had the choice between going over the next couple of days and going next weekend, you give this whole week of cold, which we're going to have. Let me show you this in a second here. Let me show you real quick just how cold it's going to be later this week. This whole week of cold will definitely do it. All right. By Friday and Saturday, we're looking good. All right. In terms of ice on lakes. here are your temperatures this week. All right, this is the forecast from the Euro. But notice how, I mean, we just don't warm up all the way through Friday. And even this, we're barely going above freezing in the extended forecast. But this is some really cold stuff, and we'll have amazing ice development all the way through Friday at this point. So I think you'd be better off to go then. But again, it's not going to be bad up until then either. Julie asks, what about Monday morning in Northwest Indiana? Will it be snow, light, and fluffy? Why don't you put the record highs and lows for every day and what the highs and lows for the day are? I don't get them anymore on my local television news. Oh, no kidding. So the almanac stuff, Julie, for sure. I think personally, what happens on TV and what we show on TV and stuff is all automated. And I don't have automated graphics. I don't have a $20,000 computer system like we do for the TV side of things. So to be honest with you, as a meteorologist who does this in a full-time job on TV with 5 children who are under 9, I don't always, and Julie, I know you're not asking, but I don't always have time to gather all the data with the highs and lows and post it every day. But I get it. I'm an almanac kind of person too. I like to know where we're at. On the temperature graphics that I put out every single week that show the temperature trend, I always put the average on there, and I usually have a line so you can tell kind of where we are compared to average. And the good news is, Julie, our average highs are coming up. All right, we are over halfway through winter. Our average highs, the traditional lows, have already taken place over the last couple of days, and we're starting to slowly rise in terms of average highs. So that's some good news. So our average will start to come up. I think it's 34 right now. I think it hits 35 as we get into February, beginning of February, and then 36, 37, 38 as we go throughout the month. So it's a slow climb. We know that. Terry says, my husband will be driving to South Bend or driving to South Bend to Fort Wayne, or so probably from South Bend to Fort Wayne on Sunday. Will there be a lot of snow in the evening on Sunday? Yes. Yeah, that's going to be a snowy trip, Terry, for sure. Jeff asked a good question. Does a heavier winter mean an active spring? Not always, Jeff. There's not, at least what I found, there's not really any correlation between that. A lot of it has to do with more the teleconnections. I mean, we knew this was going to be, or we guessed that this was going to be a cold, snowy winter for a change, and it was going to hit hard. And certainly enough, I mean, we're here. This is a winter like we haven't had in a while. But in terms of spring, I'm seeing some signs that winter's going to linger into spring, that we may have a warm up. Some of the models were showing we warm up in February. I haven't seen a lot of that recently, but we'd warm up in March and then have like a cold April. That stuff's all up in the air. I mean, literally. But it does. I don't have a correlation for that for sure. Brent, yeah, steel mill. I can't say that word. Call offs. Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, there's not going to be a ton of snow locally. It'll be travelable, but it'll be tricky for sure. Janet, great question. Luann, thank you very much. I got your comment on there. You stay safe and warm as well. Janet says, how about Detroit area and Grand Rapids? So Detroit is going to have heavier snow than the Grand Rapids area. Grand Rapids has some lake effect, but in terms of snowfall totals, that's going to be mainly it. They're not going to get a lot in Grand Rapids from this system. They'll be close to it. I would say this model looks pretty good in terms of 4 to 8, maybe a little bit more as you get closer to the lake there. But overall in Detroit's going to match up with pretty much what we get because they're going to have that same trajectory. You can see the line if you were to draw it. It's pretty much the same between Detroit and Northwest Indiana. So I would say a good 4 to 8, maybe 9, 10 inches there, which would be a little bit higher than ours. But I do see the snow coming together a little bit better out towards the east. Erica, I wouldn't. Driving to Indy on Sunday, I mean, it's a tough call. It depends on how good of a winter weather driver you are. It just gets really snowy down there, and it's just going to be persistent. So I wouldn't personally, but it doesn't mean you can't. There'll be people out driving. You're not going to be alone on the highway. Let's see. Roger, I live in Valpo. What do you think the snow total will be? That's really tough, Roger. It's so tough to predict an exact snow total for a spot. That's why we give ranges. But I'm going to try, Roger. I'm going to say, in Valpo, I'm going to go 6.8 inches, all right, by Monday. We'll see. Tammy says, Kankakee River's froze up. Yeah, Kankakee River is ice. Mariana, you're absolutely welcome. Jude says, Lubbock. Jude, you're going to get some ice down in Lubbock. Well, actually, I think it might stay just south of you. Yeah, Lubbock's going to get a little snow out of this, I believe. Again, I'm not versed in the Texas weather right now, but let's take a look. We're going national here. Oh, yeah, you got some snow in Lubbock there. Jude, it's going to snow. I know you guys got some good snow a couple of years ago. Was that last year or the year before we got some good snow in Lubbock? We'll keep this kind of with Northwest Indiana for now. But, yeah, prepare for some snow. That's going to be a nice little system for you down there. I didn't realize those amounts came up, at least from what I saw earlier this week. So there's that. Yes, Maxwell, lowest temperatures now. But if we were to go to the decimal point, to the tenths column, you'll see those numbers are coming up. So we're actually getting better. Yeah, Lori, it's a mess. In terms of the kids under 9, there's that. All right. Oh, Diane is she's watching from Orange County, California. Picked a good time to get out of town. Yes, you certainly did. Christopher, thank you for signing up for that. Melissa, same chances as I predicted for Valpo. I think 4 to 8 out of this, 3 to 6, 4 to 8. I said 3 to 6 earlier. We'll go 3 to 6 out of this. We'll see what happens. Donna, we will get, I know it's for everybody. She says, well, we maybe get a break middle of next week. We will. When this storage system goes by, we'll get a little bit of a break. There'll be a couple systems that come in behind that, though, that look to have lighter amounts. Nothing like this for sure. Rich, your sister lives at the Indiana-Kentucky border. Wow. I hope she has a shovel as well. Yeah, you've got enough work to do up here for sure. Cheryl Lynn's going to look like an ice block when she gets home tomorrow. There's that. Yeah, Roger, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's always fun to predict these things. It really is. But I think in terms of impacts, that's kind of what we're looking at. Yeah, so Amy, in terms of the wind, it's gusty now. It's going to get real gusty tonight and tomorrow. That's the Arctic air blowing in. Once the air is in and settled, our wind is going to back off on Saturday. I don't think we're going to have much wind at all on Saturday. And then Saturday night into Sunday, we will get some wind with this storm system. But the good news is I don't see the wind getting out of control with this. I really don't. I do think we'll have some blowing and drifting of snow, but not a ton. The wind will pick up again on the backside of this once it gets colder. Sunday night and a Monday, the wind will pick back up. So during the snow event, should be a rather gentle falling snow is kind of how I envision this. I think it'll stick to the trees nicely. It'll look pretty nice outside. But once we get into Sunday night and Monday, that wind picks up again, and that's where we'll have some problems. Great question on that. Kayla, get the whole weekend in peace. Wow, Kayla, how did you earn that one? Enjoy it for sure. DK, you're welcome. We appreciate you too. Melissa, you're welcome. Lynn, you're welcome as well. All right, we're getting a lot of thank yous. That means people are peacing out, and that's okay with me. Guys, hope this helps. All right, we'll talk again tomorrow night. We'll just get you up to date on the latest for this. I know there's people that can join certain nights. I get it, but we'll give you the latest model runs tomorrow and let you know if there's anything that obviously is changing here in the forecast, okay? We're on the radio side of things, X-Rock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, Z 107.1. And if you guys have a business you would like to sponsor, we'd love to partner with you. Just shoot me a message on Facebook, a direct message on there, or you can email us at contactregionweather.com. We stay local, though, to Northwest Indiana. We love all of our sponsors. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. All right, stay safe and stay warm tomorrow morning. Please, please, please stay warm. Take care of those pets. Take care of the pipes. Get the cabinets open. Drip the faucets. Thermostats up. You guys know the drill. And take care of those car batteries, too. Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.